We are back streaming. Um, yeah, was not planning on streaming, which seems to be the case every time. Spent a while in here already today trying to get Zoom to work with my setup, and almost threw in the towel. Almost threw in the towel, but we figured it out. So we're giving a Zoom lesson tomorrow. So that's exciting. And I was messing here with some different camera things and stumbled on something cool. So I was like, all right, let's just do a little stream. Just a little one. All right. We're going to play a little bit. We're going to warm up. And then we'll probably turn on a click maybe. Just have some fun. I'm going to play and post some feedback. Let me know how it sounds. Post those questions. Let's talk about drumming. I don't know how long this is going to be. We never know what's going to happen. We just hit the button, we start talking, we start playing. Next thing you know, like an hour and a half has gone by. That's usually what ends up happening. But I have an odd feeling tonight. So I'm expecting things to just blow up, or I'm just expecting to play horribly. But let's be positive. It's going to be great. All right. And check this out. We got a new little multicam thing going here. Huh? It's not nothing. Let's play. Well, I knew it was a bad idea. Ooh. Should not have hit that stream button today. But you know, I kind of like the risk. Actually, a little bit. I kind of like the risk. You know, you turn it on and you're like, what's going to happen? And some days are going to be better than others. But we'll probably delete this one. So cheers. Thanks for hanging out. My name is Steve Holmes. We're streaming here from Los Angeles. So let's see what the internet is saying. What's up, internet? Cheers. Let's see on YouTube. We've got Bon and World Ruin Music. Thanks for the compliments. Let's see. Jazz for Ashal, who appreciates the variation in tempo and syncopation. Well, man, the variance in tempo is like me just trying to find a tempo that I don't suck in. Let's see. A series awesome. Speed on the left hand. Love that traditional grip and would love to develop that. Starting to try. 56 years old. Not likely. You never know, man. Honestly, like you could, just in a couple of weeks, you could get some serious traction with this thing. Not that I recommend this, really. I mean, I don't not recommend it. I just, I wouldn't say like, hey, do this because it's better. You know, it's a personal choice, you know. I do feel like there's some, you know, some benefit to doing this, particularly with like the kind of finessey strokes and whatever. And holding the stick feels a little bit more comfortable because it's harder to drop a stick with traditional grip. Because if I open my hand, the stick is still in my hand. With match grip, if I open my hand, the stick falls out of my hand. And that's an advantage that not a lot of folks talk about. You know, the fact that the stick is kind of cradled in the hand and now I can kind of control it and finesse it a little bit with fingers and arm and wrist motion is definitely different than controlling it with arms and wrists and fingers, you know, holding this way. And again, it's not better. It's just different strengths and weaknesses, you know. Let's see. I've been playing for about 8 years myself. Says SW333. Really just classic rock with friends. Man, that's it. You're doing it. You're making music with friends. Like, what else could one hope for? You know? Like, what else could one hope for? You are at the finish line, dude. You are doing it. Let's see. Amazing playing. Thank you so much. Steve is really making sense in what he's playing. I don't know about that. Oh, we got a $5 donation, you guys, on YouTube from Section 8 Music. Thank you. So jealous of your content counting ability. You make it look easy at every speed. Thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. Anyone else on YouTube that wants to support, just hit that super button, the donation button, and my little digital tin cup here. You know, I'm like the homeless guy on the corner. Yeah. So no risk, no reward, no deletions. It was tasty. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of streams out there, you guys. I'm really starting to repeat myself. You know, all these streams are starting to sound the same. And last stream, I did make an effort to kind of not repeat myself, but that was not the case today. I just had to just play the stuff today just to kind of keep it going, you know. We'll see. If you want to hear this stuff like played better, look at other streams, you know. Let's see. What's up from South Carolina? Says Wes Morris. Wes, cheers. Thank you for hanging out in South Carolina. Hope you're doing well, man. Let's see. Hey, Steve, I really like the over-the-bar line phrasing you do. How do you go about learning that? I get lost pretty easily. That's a good question. Cheers. We've talked about that before on the stream, and I'm going to make it easier to find previous topics on the stream. But we're working on that. You just got to develop that internal clock, you guys. Like, if you don't want to get lost when you hear, like, you know, phrasing that isn't rhythmically obvious or isn't obvious where the bar starts and ends, you gotta develop that internal clock. You gotta develop. You have to get used to hearing kind of advanced rhythmical phrases. You know. Just get familiar with the subdivisions. I mean, there's only so many. This is what I always say. Like, the subdivisions don't get updated every year. It's not like computer code, you know. Once you learn how to sing like every, third 16th note or every fifth 16th note and what that accent, sounds like, to the quarter note, then it's not going to jar you when you hear it, that's the key, is you have to get familiar with how all these things sound so that when someone plays them, you don't get like taken off guard or jarred by it. You're not like, whoa, especially like rhythmically deceptive stuff, because some stuff is literally supposed to sound like it's in a different meter. I mean, that's the nature of polyrhythms, right? And then you get into metric modulation and stuff. But just start simple. Just pick a thing. Pick like dotted eighth notes and write out like a bar of 16th notes, just one bar, and just put an accent over top of every third and like look at the accents where they fall in relation to the quarter note. Snap the quarter note and sing the accents. Chugga diggy chugga diggy chugga chuck 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 chuck. As soon as you do that, you'll notice probably that that accenting every third 16th note is takes up the space of 3 quarter notes, and it starts again on the 4th quarter note, which can be tricky if you're in 4. So it helps to kind of write that stuff out and sing it to yourself, and just get familiar with the accents are in relation to the quarter note and in relation to 1. In relation to all the quarter notes, but particularly like that transition from 4 to 1, Because if you're like check it, 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 cha, right there, takes 3 bars to resolve, because there's actually a formula. We've talked about this before, but this is worth mentioning. If you're playing at 16th notes and you accent the same number of beats and you start on 1, however many notes you're accenting, that's how many bars it takes to resolve. So that's why if you accent every 3 16 notes starting on 1, it takes 3 bars to resolve. If you accent every 5th 16th note, it takes 5 bars to resolve. 7, 9, it's all the same. And it's not, it doesn't make sense to play a fill that's 3 bars long or 5 bars long. And so when you're accenting, the same amount of notes over 16 notes or whatever subdivision, I like to just kind of get it going and then like chop it off at count 4 and then play something simple on count 4 and then come out. And that's a kind of a neat way to construct fills, But we're getting carried away. Someone was asking about going over the bar line and feeling that stuff, and that's just my thoughts on that. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. That was for Timothy Raj, actually. Hope that was helpful, Timothy. Greetings from Dominican Republic on YouTube. Lax Traction LLC. All right. Greetings. Thank you for hanging out. See, when I use traditional grip, it hurts me between the thumb and the first finger. Help, says World Ruin Music. Jeez. Between the thumb and the first, like right here. Yeah, well, that's where the fulcrum is. That's the thing with traditional grip. Like, you're not holding this here. Like, step 1 is like open your hand, place stick in hand, close hand, get control, get this feeling comfortable-ish, like moving your arm, moving your wrist, moving your fingers, right? Then ring finger and traditional grip, ring finger and pinky underneath the stick, middle finger and index finger on top of the stick, but the grip, the control is still here, right? So then repeat the process, like wrist, arm, fingers, primarily middle and index at this point. That's like traditional grip 101. But if you're playing a lot and you're getting pain, then it sounds like you're absorbing a lot of the stroke of the drum. You're not letting the stick rebound a whole lot, which may help some and is pretty difficult. I still struggle with not burying the stick. I still bury the stick a fair amount, actually, which is a bad habit. But first of all, if something hurts, you should stop. I don't recommend like powering through pain, because that could lead to long-term injuries. So I wouldn't recommend that. I would maybe practice at lower volumes. If your hand's hurting, wait for it to not hurt before you practice again. And then maybe practice at lower volumes and try to get a sense of when the pain is starting, and then like examine what's happening. You know, be like, oh, what is causing the pain right now? That might be a good way to go. Make sure you're not squeezing too hard. You know, I mean, you don't have to, like I was saying before, like with traditional grip, the stick is like it's sitting in your hand. I can open my hand, the stick's in it. So, you know, don't squeeze harder than you need to. And try to catch these habits early, because once your body goes into like, well, this is just second nature, this is how I do it after years and years, it's hard to undo those kind of habits, you know. I've spent a lot of time practicing on all different kinds of surfaces, not just drums, but, you know, bouncy pads, but also pillows. You know, I spent a lot of time playing like clean doubles, like on my leg, you know, that kind of thing. Just the point is like kind of getting your hands, you know, used to the feeling of like, oh, I have to do the work. Oh, I don't have to do the work because things are bouncy now, you know. So spend time doing like the dribble thing, you know, like on the hi-hat where you know, palm down. You know, sorry, that's going to be really loud, but it's like dribbling a basketball with your two fingers, you know, and then work on like just one finger. So you can't really see, but I'm just doing the index finger. Now the middle finger. And then switch to the index, etc. You know, and get used to like switching the fingers and wrist and arm and like all, you know, all those three components. Like just practice playing slow and getting control of that stuff. You know, wrist, fingers. You know, it's switching kind of the fingers to wrist. You know, and all the while there's a little bit of space here, you know, because like I said, you don't have to squeeze too hard. And make sure you're using a stick that the weight of which is comfortable. You know, I think that you know, if you're playing with a stick that's too light or too heavy, then you might find some improvement with a different weight, be it lighter or heavier. So go to a music store, try different weights. You know. Try different weights and experiment and see what feels good. I think that's all I got for My Hand Is Hurting. So I hope that was helpful. Who was that for? Who was talking about... Let's see. Oh, that was for Words Ruin Music. Let's see, I'm starting to recognize your vocabulary. None of it. Okay. What is your favorite shuffle to play? Man, I love playing the halftime shuffle because you can, you know, you can kind of go to different feels from the halftime shuffle without it sounding too jarring. You know, you can kind of, because that backbeat on 3, you know, that can apply to, you know, to different feels. And so I like playing the halftime shuffle and then kind of going on like a 6/8 kind of thing, and then even playing straight, or playing a halftime shuffle and then playing fills that are straight instead of swung, and all that stuff is kind of fun. But just a plain old like rock shuffle is fun too, you know. Not necessarily 4 on the floor, but just kind of like the bass drum shuffling, you know, with the cymbal, like boom, ba-da-ba-boom, ba-da-ba-boom. Like I kind of enjoy that kind of stuff too. So that's Radio Chaos asking about shuffles on YouTube. Let's see, section music. This little worth leaving this up. It's important information. Yeah, I guess so. This goes way over my head. Okay, yeah, maybe it'll become intelligible later on. Very possible. Very possible. Thanks for the ideas on traditional grip. You're welcome. You know, it's probably worth mentioning at this point that, I mean, you know, this reminding me, like the person was like, oh, you know, this is kind of over my head, but, you know, I might come back later. I mean, totally agree with that. You know, totally agree with that, because there were definitely concepts that I had a eureka moment like later on, you know, especially when I went to music school, you know, at Musicians Institute in like 93, and kind of on the surface understood, you know, some of those advanced concepts that we were talking about before, like, you know, the difference between like, you know, odd groupings, you know, of an existing subdivision and just an odd subdivision, you know, like quintuplets versus every 5th, 16th note. You know, people say like, oh, we're playing 5s, and it's like, well, which one is it, you know? Sorry. And, you know, just basic, you know, polyrhythm stuff like 3/4, which I love and mess with all the time. And I spent time after the fact, like writing stuff out, writing a bar of 8th note triplets and putting an accent over top of every 4th one. and just kind of like having that light bulb moment where you're like, oh, okay. And then singing stuff along with the radio or the radio, haha. It's 2023, Steve. However you're listening to music, streaming or YouTube or radio or whatever, singing, like whatever advanced concept you're working on, like singing that along with other music, I found to be very helpful. So there was that. And once I was able to do that, it was easier to go back to the kit and then play it along with other pieces of music or just by myself or whatever. Let's see. Tiago, hello, Steve. Any advice on studying big band? Swing stuff. Greetings from Brazil. Man, Brazil. Tiago Campos. Geez, big band stuff. Yeah. Well, I mean, reading big band charts is pretty hard, and folks might be tempted to just memorize tunes and stuff. But man, reading it's an art form. Knowing the difference between a section figure and an ensemble figure, on the chart. Like in a section figure is a figure that only one section of the band is going to play. Like maybe it's the saxophones that are going like ba 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 na, and so you wouldn't want to orchestrate that whole thing on the kit. You would just put that against the time, like keep the time going, right? Because you want to catch that with the section, as opposed to an ensemble figure, which means that the entire ensemble, the whole band is going to play that figure. Everyone's going ba, so you want to play that. You want to stop playing the time and like play it on the whole kit orchestrated how you want, but and then keep the time going and feeling good obviously through that stuff. The other thing I will mention, and whenever anyone asks about big band playing, I always mention this, is like pay attention to your long and short sounds. Not enough guys do that. Including myself. Like I suck at this. Like I suck at sight reading big band stuff. So I'm definitely not coming from a place, well, based on my masterful, opinion. This is just stuff that, that I would work on actually if I was working on this. But yeah, pay attention to long and short notes and orchestrate them accordingly. A lot of guys tend to play figures and they just play all the figures like on a cymbal with no regard for, long and short. If it's just like ba 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 ba. You don't want to put it all on the ride cymbal. Ba, 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 ba. I mean, you can get away with it. It'll sound good, but it will sound better if you orchestrate that stuff accordingly. Play the short sounds on short parts of the kit. Play it, play it just on the snare. Play it with a splash. Play it with, the hi-hat, snare and hi-hat together, or do the pss, pss, pss with the hi-hat for the short notes, and crash cymbals and whatever for the long notes. But once you get familiar, that's kind of like not necessarily the advanced stuff, but, and who knows, maybe it's better to work on that stuff right away. Sorry. I was going to say maybe, learn the figures in a basic way and then move on to long and short stuff, but forget that. Like try to incorporate the long and short stuff like from the start, that's probably better. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, try to get to the point where like you're familiar with the music and you're memorizing, but you're reading also. And so you're not like, kind of chained to the chart, such that it affects your playing. Make sure that you're familiar enough with the music and the chart that it doesn't like, choke your playing off. You want to be comfortable playing so that your time sounds comfortable and then it's feeling good, What else for big band stuff? I mean, I would just, any piece that I was doing, obviously I would try to find a recording of the piece. Hopefully more than one, so you can get like, some compare and contrast action going, Yeah, just pay attention to the dynamics. Make sure that you're bringing that volume when you need to. That's the thing about big bands, is that they are loud and powerful. They have that gear that they go into, and they're not in that gear all the time, but the chances are they will go into that gear, and you want to be able to support that. You don't want to be like the wimpy drummer that's kind of playing, not at the same power that the band is. So when the band's bringing it, you want to bring it too. And on the opposite hand, if the band is like, playing quiet, then you want to play quiet too. You want to match the intended energy of the parts of the song, basically. All right. And the music will sound its best if you do that, right? It's your job. So take it seriously. That's what I got for big band stuff. All right. What else do we got? What is your favorite method for keeping track of practice topics? How can we balance specifically of our interests alongside being a versatile drummer? Says Eleutherarch, I think. Well, I can't even. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. Let's see. Keep track of practice. Oh, you mean like your own personal practice and you know, you just gotta like set specific goals. Don't take on too much stuff at once. You know, like be like, okay, this like because you know a week is not a long time. This is what I always say about drumming, you guys. Like we're so lucky in the regard of like if you play like the same thing for 10 minutes without stopping, without varying it, without goofing around every 30 seconds, like 10 minutes, play the same thing. You're going to get better after 10 minutes as long as you have that discipline of not changing it. You know, you'll be able to play it a little bit faster. It'll feel a little bit more relaxed probably. And so just think about that as just 10 minutes. Like if you spend a week, you know, playing along with a click at 65 beats PM, you know, a week, you know, say like whatever, X amount of time a day, at least 20 minutes, a half hour. Like the point is like if you focus and attack and don't get distracted, you can get a lot out of your practice time. So take advantage of that and split things up. Be like, okay, for the next 2 weeks, it's going to be shuffles because someone asked about shuffles. All right, we're going to practice whatever, rock shuffle, traditional blues shuffle, and a halftime shuffle. All right, we're going to spend some time listening to it. We're going to find examples of all that stuff. We're going to spend most of the time on the kit practicing that stuff at different tempos, slow, medium, and fast. Spend 2 weeks doing that. All right? Then, you know, next 2 weeks, practice something else, you know? I mean, for the first 2 weeks, you can maybe, like whatever, a half hour in shuffles and a half hour in something else. Point is like, don't do too much at once. Don't be like, oh, this week we're going to practice improvising and blowing over a vamp and big band reading and hand technique. You know, that's probably too much. Like pick two or three things, whatever, depending upon how much time you have available to you, and just focus on those two things, you know? And when I say like no goofing around, no distractions, like obviously you need to kind of reset your brain, you know? So like whatever, after 5 minutes, like sure, goof around for a minute, you know? Then get back to work, you know, reset that clock, take a commercial break, you know, instead of like, don't go crazy with only doing the thing. And, you know, if you can, then good for you, then do that. But I think you'll be able to practice one thing longer if you take breaks, you know? So that's my advice, you know? And if you do that, if you play like shuffles for 2 weeks, and then don't practice shuffles for 2 weeks. When you come back to shuffles, it's going to be a world of difference. You know, your body's going to be like right back where it was. It's going to feel great, you know. And so you've moved up that level like a little bit, you know. And so you want to do that like with all the major, you know, parts of your drumming that you're working on, like timekeeping, groove, you know, whatever, soloing, reading, you know, whatever, Latin drumming, jazz drumming, rock drumming, pop drumming. Like whatever your thing is, like, you know, the method that I just mentioned can improve all of those things. You know, you just gotta practice the right stuff, the right amount, you guys. And honestly, like, I think every student that I've ever taught, they know the right stuff. They just don't practice it enough. You know, that's what really separates like the guys or the folks who don't practice enough from the folks that do practice enough. Like that's really it, you know? And it's hard. Like it's hard to stay focused. You know, this is like, if it was easy, then there would be amazing players everywhere. There kind of is amazing players everywhere. It's already like, you know, but don't think about it that way. Don't like get competitive. It's not a contest. Like, do you know, get the wins. It's all about getting the wins. Get that win. And the feeling and the confidence from one win, well, that energy goes into you attacking the next thing, and that'll even be, you know, it'll energize that next goal that you have, and which will increase the odds of that goal getting achieved. You know, not to get all like personal motivation on you, but it's true. It's all about the momentum of the wins, and that goes for a lot of things in my experience. All right, so I hope that answers that. Okay, so Dazed and Confused was Big Band influence. All right. Thank you, Steve, taking the time all these years to show us the right ways. Playing keeping the fresh and new. Yes. Says, oh, yeah, Keith Crawley. KC. KC grew up in the same city I did. What's up, KC? Good to see you, man. Let's see. Weichel is a master at muting a tom from ringing too long with another muted stroke. It sounds so amazing when he does it. Yeah, Weck is like, he gets like all the tones out of the drums with the choking and the the hitting the drum and leaving it on there. But you know who impresses me the most in terms of getting different sounds out of the toms? Ari Honig. Come on, you guys. Ari Honig. If you're not hip to Ari, go down the rabbit hole. Check out Ari Honig on YouTube. Ari Honig plays, melodies on his 4-piece kit and plays them accurately, unlike anyone else. Like, he gets the correct melody, but with bending the pitch of the drums with like his elbow. He'll get like the whole scale out of like 2 toms. It's nuts. Watch Ari Honig play like, trade, and then on his last trade, he'll play the head of the tune like on his toms accurately. It's nuts. Love Ari. Let's see. What's your go-to linear fill? Your playing is inspirational. Thanks. Thank you for the compliment. Really appreciate it. My go-to linear fill depends on whatever fill I'm like working on. If I have a fill that I like and I'm not good at, then that'll be my favorite because I'll try to go to it and just see if I can pull it off. So I'm working on right now like a 16-note triplet kind of thing with this tricky sticking that I saw Louis Palmer do on a video. Louis is a friend and a great drummer. And I'm still kind of working on that because I haven't practiced it the right amount. And I talked about that fill in the last couple of streams, so I'm not going to demonstrate it now. But really, like, the truth is, like, that should not decide what fill you play. I mean, of course, it affects that decision. But, I mean, what's musically appropriate and what sounds best for the song should really dictate, like, what fill you play, as opposed to, like, hey, what cool thing have I been practicing lately? Let me do that for my fill. Which we're all guilty of. I'm guilty of it, too. Everyone does it. Everybody does that. But, maybe that's not the best idea all the time. I don't know. I got nothing. Let's see. How about demonstrating some solid shuffle fills? Average to more advanced, says Tim. Shuffle fills. Man, it's funny. Someone else asked about that. Like, I don't know that. What did we do when we talked about this last time? I don't know that the fills that we play for shuffle are reserved just for shuffles. It's just that they're triplety fills, because the shuffle is, you're playing over triplets. And so you just kind of switch gears into triplet gears. So, I know Tim's like, less talking, more playing. What else is people asking about? Work on other hand. I'm Tom, the drummer that got to play a bit with Jeff Miley. Oh, nice. In the late 80s and 90s. Hope to afford November 23 International Drumming here in Austin. Coming out if I can cover all your costs. And what is this? Hoping to afford November 23 International Drum Thing here in Austin, Texas. Think about coming out if I can cover all your costs. Okay. Yeah, if anyone's interested in, booking an event or that kind of thing, then just drop me an email. steveholmes@gmail.com. All right, if you want to talk business, if I'm reading this correctly. Jeff Miley is an amazing guitarist. We did a stream together recently, so check out my channel. For those of you that have not subscribed to my channel, there's tons of videos on there, tons of streams that we've done over the last year and a half, and they're all on there pretty much. All the streams are on there, you guys. And there's a ton of information on there. And I'm working on a website that's going to present all the stream chapters like in one user-friendly way. But it's not ready yet. Someone's helping me with that. I don't know, shuffle fills. I mean, I could play some shuffles and just see what happens. We've done that before. I think we did this exact topic before. We were like, hey, let's talk about, fills during shuffles. There's the old, like, I'll just shut up and play. Oh, man. All right. So that was me just messing around with different shuffles, and at the end there, we stumbled upon a fill that I completely choked on, and just kind of repeated it until I played what I had in my head. You know, I was on the ride cymbal and wanted to kind of come down in energy to like a tight hi-hat thing. And so I wanted to, you know, be like that's what I wanted to do, and totally blew it because my hands weren't sure, like, you know, what was doing what. And so I stopped and worked it out, you know. It turns out I didn't have to do a double there. That open hi-hat fell right on the left when I was going hand to hand. You know. So work that out until I can do it. Make sure I can do it. Like, make sure we've fixed the problem, and then at that point, like, come up with some variations and maybe, you know, repeat it over and over and see if we can expand on it a little bit. But wait until like the problem is solved and I can do it successfully before you move on to like it's time to come up with different variations, because a lot of guys make that mistake, myself included, where it's like they learn something new, and as soon as they learn it, they try, let me just try to do this new different thing with it. You know, it's like whoa. Let's stick to the plan. You know, let's say the thing before we improvise on the thing we're saying. So yeah, that's me embarrassing myself playing a bunch of different shuffles. Let's see. Demonstrating. Okay, we talked about the shuffles. That was for you, Tim. My shuffle fills were like, you know, kind of, you know, weak. But that's what I got. I hope that was helpful. To answer my question, of course, how to work on the other hand. Won the fuss. Show me, please. Says on YouTube, EBSF. Yeah, how to work on the other hand. Won the fuss. Show me, please. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. Let's see on Tom. Oh yeah, we talked to Tom. Yeah, already. Let's say, come on, do some pretty. Hey from Brazil. What's up? Says Nago Search. Tim says thank you. Okay, Tim, I hope that was helpful. Let's see. This is dope. Do you teach yourself? I see you holding the sticks traditionally. That's true. Says Controller 64. Got some new folks here on YouTube stream. If you have not checked out my channel, there's tons of videos on there. Please check out my channel. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to up the subscriber count. Right now we're at 23,000 something. Trying to get it up there. So tell your friends, please, or your drummer friends. Email out some links and be like, dude, check this guy out. You need to subscribe to his channel. You need to say it just like that. I'm just kidding. Let's see. What's your camera setup like? Well, I've got a MacBook Pro here with three Thunderbolt inputs. It's the newish MacBook Pro, the M1. And it's got 3 Thunderbolt inputs. I don't have a camera switch or anything. So camera number 1 is the laptop camera that you're looking at right now. Camera number 2 is an iPhone camera, an old iPhone. And I had to buy this plugin for OBS. It's just called OBS Camera. And it works with any iPhone. You can use an old iPhone as a camera, which is pretty cool. There you go. There's my messy desk. Yeah, and so I put together this multi-thing with the 2 cameras. So that's it. It's just the 2 cameras put together, which I think is pretty cool, actually. That's what convinced me to stream. Once I was messing with this, and once I got this together, I was like, ooh, we might need to stream right now with the new cool multicam thing. Last stream we had like it was switching cameras back and forth. But that's it. It's just 2 cameras. It's kind of enough, I think. Having like a B camera to go to, I think is just enough to kind of like be helpful, you know? I mean, I can only manage so much stuff here. But we'll see. Maybe we'll get a camera switcher. We'll get some more cameras. People keep asking for a foot cam. And I'd hate to dedicate an entire camera just to feet, but I suppose it's relevant. So, and that's what the kids are doing. So gotta follow what the kids are doing. That's the camera setup. Oh, Sledge the Ross says, let's go. Jazz for Satchel, working on that hi-hat. Yeah. Let's see, does clapping variations by Steve Reich fit into the shuffle? I'm not familiar with that, so I can't say. Let's see, maybe you could make branded merch. Smiley with a goatee, headphones, and glasses. That's actually not a bad idea. If there's any artists in the house that want to submit some concepts for that. I mean, yeah, merch would be a good idea, you know. And we had a couple Photoshop things that a friend of mine sent me. Like it was a picture of Albert Einstein like pointing to a chalkboard, and they had put the Bluzda on there, which was pretty funny. Obviously, I can't sell images of Albert Einstein, but something along those lines. And I like the colon pipe too. This is a long time thing that my friends know me for. Just kind of the straight face. Those of us on the houseofdrumming.com forums. Houseofdrumming.com is my drumming website that's been up for a long time. It's just a forum at this point, but there's the same group of guys that have been on there talking drums, and we kind of have this like what would be called a meme now, but it was just kind of our joke that we did for a long time, which was the straight face kind of, you know, sarcastic way of expressing how happy you are when something's not going the way you'd like it to. You know, you're kind of like, isn't that great? So yeah, we call it the colon pipe because that's on the keyboard, it's a colon followed by that vertical line, which is called a pipe. So colon pipe emoticon, maybe with the, you know, like the goatee and the glasses and the headphones. That's actually pretty funny. So yeah, maybe we'll try that. Let's see, Full in the Rain. We kind of did a bunch of shuffles already, so we'll stay away from that. But yeah, Full in the Rain, obviously amazing, pioneering groove. Any new music you're digging? Recent Vinny recordings? No. There's no like, oh, Borba Cymbals, what's up? Borba Cymbals, long-time stream follower. Music, new music. I'm still on my Ginny Marker kick. Ginny Marker, singer-songwriter, Ginne. Marker, really digging her stuff. She's new-ish recording called Ulteria, Ulteria. There's some really good tunes on there. I listen to the same thing for like months and months and months, you know. My playlist in my car is a mixture of like, you know, some new stuff and then like, you know, the same stuff we've been listening to our whole lives, you know, and then some yacht rock and, you know, and I have a jazz playlist that I had going the other day with just, you know, Jeff Tain Watts, you know, my favorite jazz drummer we always talk about around here. There's a song on a record of his. The song is called The Impaler. That is just so much fun, man. It's like this straight ahead thing with like a Latin thing in 7. The Latin groove in 7 is super cool. Like I can sing it, but I've actually never tried to play it. It's like the bass line is doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down. Right? It's like a fast 7 thing. And he's like, yeah, it's, let's see if we can do it. I've never done it before. I'm going to try it right now. This is the Jeff Tain Watch groove in 7, the Latin thing. Yeah, see, I can do it with my hands, but I don't have the foot in there yet. And I was listening to that the other day. I was trying to listen to what he's doing with his foot. And he's doing like a simple thing with his foot, and I'm just trying to like, you know, catch one with it. But that's the pattern. It's like, which is tricky. It's like a 2-bar thing, and the cross stick is on the count of 1 on the second bar, which is pretty cool. So it's like 1, 7, 1. Sorry. 1, 1, 1. kind of varies it. You know, he starts going on the snare and plays a kind of a songo thing instead of, you know, being... It's really cool. Check out the tune, The Impaler, Jeff Tain Watts. It's like a straight ahead thing, but then they go into that, and he actually solos over that. He solos over that vamp. And there's a really long trumpet solo over there that every time it's on in my car, I'm embarrassing myself. Like I'm air trumpeting the whole solo. Like I love that song. So that's what I'm listening to. Let's see, any quick tips for playing doubles? Struggling with doubles, just can't get them up to speed or sound right. That's not true, Jeff. You can get them up to the current speed that you can do it. You just need to increase that speed, you know? You just need to increase that speed. I've got a 3-part video series on double strokes on my channel for those that have not seen it. I think there's a separate playlist just for those 3 videos. It's like a 3-part thing. Talks about doubles. And unfortunately, there's no shortcut to that kind of thing. You just got to, you know, work out the doubles over top of triplets, work out the doubles over top of 16th notes, you know? Yeah, Jeff Tain Watts, The Impaler. Let me do some really quick, like just doubles. I'll just demonstrate like slow, medium, and fast over top of triplets and 16th notes. There you go. And that's with no accents, right? It's all about the accents. And I talk about that on that 3-part video series on my channel. Again, go to YouTube, go to my channel. I've got all this stuff on there. Subscribe. Where we go through accenting each possibility. So for 16 notes, you accent the first. You double everything else. You accent the second. You double everything else. Accent the third. Accent the fourth. Accent the first 2, the middle 2, the last 2. Double everything else. And those become, you know, your kind of letters for the words where, you know, we play subdivisions, we accent our phrase, we double everything else. That's the goal. With triplets, it's even easier because there's only 3. You know, you accent the first, double the second 2, accent the middle, you know, double the, double the first and third, accent the third, double the first and second, like write it out, you know, write a whole bar of eighth or triplets, a whole bar, 12 notes, you know, put the accent and, you know, put your little diddle marks, you know, actually in the description of the lesson, there's a free PDF in the description. I've got it printed up over here because I use it in my lessons so much. You know, it's all about doubles. You got to put in the time. Make sure your hands are the same volume. Work the weak hand. If one hand is really falling behind, then double with that hand and single with the good hand. Like, do that. Get them clean, get them even. You know, like I said earlier, like it helps to play on surfaces other than drums. You know, play on your leg, play on a pillow, play on a practice pad, play on a drum. Just get your muscles able to, like, obey. You know, that's really what it's about. It takes time. And I added a bunch of shorts on my YouTube channel recently because I discovered how to, like, create little 15-second snippets of your existing videos and make them a short. Right, a YouTube short. It's like their version of, like, TikTok or Instagram, right? It's like this vertical video. And I have a video on my channel of, like, Me in high school, marching in drumline, when I had to learn this stuff. I was so lucky that I got an early start. Clean doubles in high school. There's a short on my channel, and there's a whole video on my channel. It's like 3 minutes long of just highlights from high school, which seems odd, but it was priceless. It was priceless. I had to get clean doubles happening because there was guys above me that already had it happening, and I had never heard of that stuff. I thought I was like the hot shit with my Neil Peart like play along stuff, and they were like, "Can you play a double stroke roll?" And I was like, "No," you know. That was an interesting summer, freshman year. That was it, you know. Get your doubles together. It's all about the doubles, or not. Maybe it's not all about the doubles. What do I know? I'm just a guy in his drum room. I make video games for a living. Don't listen to anything I'm saying. All right, we got to cut it off here. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun little stream. It was a little short one. We got the multicam thing happening. We embarrassed ourselves a little improv. We did some triplets. We talked about lots of stuff. Big band, shuffles, doubles. I'm trying to play more, you know. I look at these streams, watch them back, and it's like, man, there's a lot of talking, not a lot of playing. So now I'm kind of like, hey, let's demonstrate the thing instead of just blah, blah, blah. All right, that's what we're doing. That is what we're doing. Da, 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 da. So there's lots more comments here. Steve would love to hear more about your soundproofing. Drum corps guy here drummed with Derek back in the 90s. Yes, my brother Derek, Derek DeFields, who I've mentioned several times on the stream here, is a good friend of mine. Who's an amazing drummer. He marched in Blue Devils. Apparently, so did this person, James. That's awesome, James. Yeah, and it's like, obviously the stuff we did in high school is no comparison. It was just kind of from that school. But yeah, the real stuff. If you guys aren't familiar with like professional drum corps, like go down that rabbit hole and prepare to be discouraged, because those guys are like the Navy SEALs of like hand technique and rudiments. Like just Google like whatever, DCI drum corps drumline practice, or, you know, Blue Devils drumline practice, and just enjoy. Turn it up and just enjoy and listen to the beautiful result of the different layers of like snares, tonal bass drums, trips, quads, percussion. It's just so good. James wants to know about the soundproofing. Well, I had this really thick vinyl put in my walls, and that really helped a lot. We talked about that vinyl on a previous stream. It goes inside your walls, and I had the opportunity to put that in there. So I'm looking on my Amazon app to see if I can find it. I'm going to try to keep talking while I do that, because I'm a good host. Let's see. Yeah, so after I did... well, apparently I'm not a good host. After I did the soundproofing, I had to learn about sound treatment, which was a whole wake-up call. Here we go. I found it. I did manage to get the room soundproofed, but then it sounded like garbage in the room, and I had to learn about sound treatment and basically get these sound absorption panels, which absorb the sound and prevent it from bouncing around and make the room sound a lot better. You can see above me here, there's one there and then one over there, and I have them placed strategically throughout the room. This is the vinyl that I got. I'm trying to find the name of it because it's not very obvious. Noise Grabber mass loaded vinyl. This is in my walls. Noise Grabber mass loaded vinyl. It's super heavy, super thick, and it's great for preventing the sound from escaping, basically. Also, I have a convenient scenario with my neighbors. They're not very close to me, and so that's been helpful too. But I did a test after I got the room set up. I had my friend, it was actually Derek, come in here and bash on my drums, and I went outside, and it was not very loud. So that's what we did. Let's see. New Beat hi-hats asks Thizzy. The top is a New Beat 13-inch from the mid 80s. The bottom is something else. The specs to the drums and cymbals are in the description of the stream, so check that. Let's see. Remy says it's 3:30 a.m. here. Oh man, sounds like a great exercise for Samba. So you mentioned being sensitive to neighbors in a previous video. I'm the same way. Yeah, I don't want to be a bad neighbor. I really don't. I was very paranoid about that. I didn't want to be the guy that is annoying. I didn't, because I would hate it if it was happening to me. I don't want my neighbors making all kinds of noise, and so I don't want to do that to my neighbors. And so I think we got it under control actually. But again, having them kind of spaced out is obviously makes a huge difference. Let's see. I loved following your drumming over the years. Keep up the inspiring work, says James. Thank you, James. Really appreciate it. Double stroke triplets are good practice. Yes, they are. Isaac Lee, thumbs up. What's up, Isaac? Isaac, you left a really nice comment on one of my videos recently. Thank you for that, man. And so when did you start getting your linear 16 triplets together, Borba cymbals? Like when I started going to music school here in LA, like 93, 94, I learned a couple of key phrases that kind of just broke the dams down, broke the dam and the floodgates. There was a couple of licks that I'll go into next time, because that's a big topic and I want to try to wrap it up here. But I hate to say it, but there is a video on my channel about this. There's a couple actually. Like I forget the title. It's like advanced, like 16-note triplets. Yeah, but that's when that happened. That's when I started to get a couple of phrases that I could do, and I started, doing the thing where you kind of daisy chain them together, and then you can improvise with them at different tempos and put them in different orders, and that vary them up, and that's the thing. Let's see. Brian says Warzone 2.0. Yes. Sledge the Ross. Let's see. I like the talking though. Just FYI, says Isaac. Okay, cool. Obviously, I like talking, so that works out. Great lesson. Thank you so much for your time. Yes, of course. Anyone that wants to support, hit that whatever super or support button, whatever it looks like. That would be fantastic because I don't have a Patreon or anything. Let's see. March together. Oh, the freelancers when I marched Blue Devils in '96. Okay. Yeah, more talking about our mutual friend Derek. Let's see. Thanks for the soundproof tips. You're welcome, James. Let's see. Don't get your pad ripped off. No noise. Don't get your pad ripped off, says Sledge Ross. I don't get it, Ross. Oh, I see. Don't get what? Yeah, get ripped off. Yeah. Hopefully that won't happen. All right, we got to wrap it up. I got to go check on my little dog. And maybe we'll do one of these tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see. Here's my dog. I'll show you my dog just because. That's my dog, Benny. He's a Labradoodle. So I have to go hang out with Benny a little bit, you guys. All right, this was super fun. Thanks for hanging out. My name is Steve Holmes. SteveHolmes@gmail.com. Hit my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't. And we'll see you soon. All right, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. We'll see. I was going to skip doing a stream this weekend, but apparently I can't. I'm kind of addicted to doing them, like I mentioned, because, we put a lot of work into getting the setup, and it's fun, right? This is fun. All right, so we'll see you next time.